We've seen that the manufacturing giant, it was China in the last 25 or so years, and a slow move away towards India, in which a landmark EU trade deal, a free trade deal, has already occurred for the nation of India and European nations. And of course, one cannot forget the fact that Bangladesh has some of these attributes towards manufacturing that are important, such as cheap labor. But how long shall this remain cheap? Will inflation take a toll on the people of Bangladesh? And as we know, in 14 days, we have a huge decision to make. Is it going to be a yes? Is it going to be a no for the popular referendum, as well as the national election, in which constituencies who will win and who are going to bring the promises that common Bengalis want? I could, for example, begin with one. As a Dhaka resident myself, I know that the decentralization of Dhaka is ever so important. In a resource-strained city like Dhaka city, no one is able to accomplish their tasks because of this overcrowding. I want to ask this generalized topic with Professor Shamsul Alam. I want to understand how you felt.
Thank you so much for bringing the issue. Like U.S. current global trade war, we as a Bangladeshi, we are also suffered a lot, because of like giving our ready-made garments exporter who have a very big market in USA. So because of the accessing that US market, we have to also compensating our food security at the moment. We used to import lots of wheat and flour from the Russia, Ukraine earlier, but now, and the soybean oil as well, but now because of like trade restriction and also US, since US saying you have to import from me as well, so that's why we have to now buy expensive wheat and flour from the US market, which actually will threaten our food security in terms of the flour and wheat price gonna rise up, and that lots of people eat in the breakfast, like we eat roti, chapati, those will be expensive in the coming days, particularly after the Ramadan, and that will be huge security. So I think our garment sector exporter has to be understanding that, so giving them the small benefit, our food security might threaten up. So they need to be prepared accordingly. So if they go US market, they have to find out alternative deal like EU and other countries like India having now at the moment. So India is long-standing tariff they have imposed on.
You saw how India could regenerate the Russian economy.
Right.
They've been buying their crude oil, and Europe realizes, why Russia? Why it not be us?
Exactly. So India is now removing tariff on automobile vehicles import from the European market, and also technology and other aspects. So that's gonna be helping Indian products to go to the European economies market very freely. So without much more protectionism, that is a big deal that India is assuming. So Bangladesh foreign policy, Bangladesh foreign mission has to be engaged with the EU countries to have similar kind of deal, so that we can have less tariff, less protectionism against in the European market, and we can also import freely in the European market in exchange of our products and their products coming here. Like we can also import free automobile vehicles, free electric car in our country. We have to reduce the tariff on those aspects, and then we will have better access. And in terms of referendum that you said, I think, yeah, it's a big question. We need this political restructuring, decentralization of Dhaka city and every aspect, because this generation have a will that the country's autonomous power by the head of the state and prime minister, who is actually ruling like a monarch. It's not that. We're living in a democracy where every people have a say, and as much as decentralization of the power is very much important. So this time the referendum will give us a signal. If we go for the yes answer, that will actually decentralize the power. That will actually create a more political accommodation culture by opposition political parties into the decision making of the state. Nowadays, until now, we do not have any power of the opposition political parties. But this referendum will give some empowerment of the opposition political powers in the parliamentary working and also parliamentary culture. So I think this referendum is very crucial, and I think nation must go for right direction to this political restructuring and political reform in the country and go for yes, of course, in the referendum.
Very important updates that you've brought us with today. For Bangladesh, there is not just understanding the referendum. There are other issues. We don't have time, but I will shortly give a brief to our viewers, and as well as you said, that there is a refugee crisis in our country.
Right.
We have soil erosion. We have lead poisoning. We have climate change affecting us on a daily basis, the traffic and congestion. I can go on all day regarding all of these issues.